Hi again. Hello from my pajamas. I did have other pajamas on. I managed to take Lila to school and shower and then put on new pajamas. So it says sunshine on my mind. It counts. Fresh pajamas, right? Yeah, what can I say? Welcome. I hope some of you are in your pajamas too. Welcome again. I was here yesterday. I'll be here Thursday and Friday and maybe Saturday or Sunday. But I just have a lot to catch up on. Yeah, I'm here all the time, it seems. I have a lot of cards planned tonight. I think I have 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe 6, maybe 7. I don't know. We'll get through as many as we can get through. If I don't get them all done today, I'll go live with the rest of them because I was really excited about all this stuff. I will be honest, I guess last week when I got back from Portland, where I was visiting my grandbaby, I was struggling. I talked about this in my last live, and so I wanted to do some creative therapy. And I chose to work on what I'm sharing today. Not because it was the next thing on my to-do list, but I was really excited about some of these products and some ideas that popped in my mind. So I used it kind of as creative therapy. So I ended up coming up with so many different cards. Sorry, I gotta put things down. I came up with so many different cards. I'm hoping to share as much as I can today. But keep in mind, I know my lives are long. Remember, you can always catch a replay and watch it in chunks. So pretend it's just 4 different, however many cards, different videos, and you're just watching them in chunks. A lot of people say, I wish you did shorter videos more often. And I say, well, just take my longer videos and watch them in chunks more often. So I know some people do that and it works out just fine. So I'm using Altenew today. A few months ago, they showed me these products and I said, this is probably their Altenew's strongest release in maybe a couple years. There's just a lot of really creative stuff on it. I talk about how they're really good about pushing the envelope, coming out with innovative things. I think you're going to see a lot of that in today's cards. But also keep in mind, I know some people are not buying new supplies right now. Totally get that. I will be sharing techniques along the way that you can do with other products you may already have, and I'll talk about those as I go. Let's see. Okay, yeah, everybody has a different opinion on length of videos. I used to do shortened replays where I would take the longer live and take out chunks to make a shortened replay. But it's so hard to do and so time intensive to do that, that I'm not sure I'm going to do those anymore and just stick with doing new content. All right. Yeah. Anyway, okay, so I'm using Altenew today. I think Mitzi is here from Altenew. If you have questions directly for them, Mitzi, let me know if that's you. I also have Brianne here. Brianne, she always just shows up and is happy to help with all of my lives, and I appreciate that. Thank you, Brianne. I promise to spoil you lots. I see Betsy and Dana and Nicole from Altenew is here too. Good to see you all. Lots of friends here. So Nicole, it says Nicole Altenew is her handle. She also works for Altenew, so she might be able to help too. Hi, Erica. Hi, Vicki. Okay, so lots to share. Let's dive in. First of all, thank you, Sharon. I appreciate that. First of all, Altenew has a few ways to save right now if you are shopping. Oh, good. Okay, it is Mitzi. First of all, Mike, can you put up the special offer, the free gift? For my friends only, Altenew is offering a free mixed media palette knife set. I'm going to be using one of these today. It is a set of 4 really high quality knives. It's a value of almost $17, and you get that by using my code, having $79 worth of any products in your cart, and then also you have to add the palette knife to your cart. If you do those things, the palette knife will come to 0 at checkout. So it'd be free with the purchase of $79 or more and using that code. All of this information on ways to save is at the top of the YouTube description below. Mike's cracking open a LaCroix over there. It is not a beer. All right, Mike, can you show the free shipping? Altenew right now is also offering free US shipping on orders of $49 or more. So if you spend enough to get the palette knife set, you'll also get free US shipping. There is also a code for saving on international shipping. All that information is in my YouTube description below. And finally, Altenew does have, you can come back here. I don't think I gave you an image for this. Altenew does always have some products on sale. This week they have a bunch of products that are up to 50% off. And it includes some really good stuff that I've used in past videos. And I put a link to that sale category at the top of my YouTube description also. So the free shipping is great, isn't it? And it's a good time to stock up on the basics too. So if like you see maybe one thing you want to get, you can just get some basics too. But again, I know some people aren't shopping. I need to put my palette knife down. Some people aren't shopping. I will be sharing techniques that you can do with a lot of different things. And I will be using some older products too. I always try to do that in my live. I have some cards to do today, but for one of the cards I'm doing later in the live, I need to do the paste now so it dries. So instead of doing it ahead of time, I thought I'd do it at the beginning of the video, set that aside, and then start on a card. Okay, so very quickly, I'm going to start with, I'll actually use a palette knife and this stencil. So this is a new stencil. It is the Serene Lattice. I'm not really doing a big technique here. All I'm doing is putting some sparkly paste on some cardstock so it's an interesting background with texture. So you could really use any stencil for this. I have a piece of, this is Altenew Pure Graphite Cardstock. It's a newer color. It's the perfect dark gray. It's not too brown. It's not too blue. It's like perfect dark gray. And I temporarily adhered that to some scrap cardstock here so that I can apply some paste over it. Now this is again the Serene Lattice. This is a beautiful one. I'm a big fan of patterned stencils like this because they work with a variety of styles of cards. So I'm just kind of centering this-ish onto that gray rectangle. Again, that's pure graphite cardstock. Now you could tape this down, but I work on a glass work surface that's magnetic, so I'm using magnets to hold it down, and that works just as well. I can also put one down here in case I need that. Now, the paste I'm choosing to use is Shimmer Relief Paste. This is a product that I've used many, many times in videos. I really like the quality of the Shimmer Relief Paste. I find that it goes on very smooth, and the final result is a shimmer, not a glitter. So let me see if you can see through the container. Can you see how it's shimmery but not glittery? So it gives a beautiful metallic look, and it comes in a bazillion different colors. This one is called Smoky Quartz. I also have here, you can see the shimmer in this. This is the Mayan Gold. You can see how much shimmer there is in it. And then this is the Pearl. And I'll be using the Pearl later on. But they have lots of beautiful colors and different finishes. These are just some I like. I thought this Smoky Quartz would look beautiful on the pure graphite cardstock. So I have my palette knife. This is the palette, one of the knives that you get in that free set. And you can see this is like a nice, it's like a thick mayonnaise, not as thick as peanut butter. It just really is easy to apply. And I've had some of mine for a long time and opened and used them a lot, and I haven't found them to dry out. I do when I store it. I put a piece of press and seal over it. I'm not sure if that makes any bit of difference. No idea. But I do it just in case that it keeps it from drying out. I know we're all in different climates and such, but I find this goes on really well. So this is the metal palette knife from Altenew. And it comes in a set of 4 again. This is just the one I grabbed. You can use any of them. And they I find they clean up really nice, which is one of the things I like about them. So put that on. I can put the extra into my jar. I just use like a wet cloth or a baby wipe to wipe off the knife, and it's ready to go again. Then I like to close this right away, put the lid on, make a mess on my hands. And then the stencil, I'm gonna ask Mike to take this into the kitchen or into the sink right out here and rinse it off. I put it under the faucet with the spray and spray all of that off before it dries. You want to do that before it dries. Now, I normally use rubbing alcohol in a spray bottle to clean off my stencils as I'm going, but that's only if it's ink. If it's something thick like this, I go rinse it off with water. So let me show you. This needs to dry, but I'm hoping you can see the shimmer in it. It's hard to see in the video, but there's a beautiful shimmer to it. And it'll just give us a tone-on-tone textured shimmery background. So I'm going to set that aside to dry and move on to a different card. So I just leave that on there. You could take it off and smooth the edges off, like any of the paste that's hanging off the edges, but I actually have a technique I'll show you to fix that later. Hi, Miriam. Good to see you. Okay. Got to get serious putting my hair back because I got a lot to share. So that is, there's the palette knife in action. I really like them because they clean up so well. And they're just nice and durable. Nothing plastic, so you don't have to be so careful with them. Yeah, the shimmer is beautiful in real life. I mean, you can, like the pearl. Let's see if you can see this here. I don't think you can see it in here, but I'll be showing the gold later. Hold on, I need to get a piece of paper. I've used a lot of this pearl. In fact, I need to buy some more of it because I'm gonna run out soon. I use it so much. But I think you can probably, I'm just gonna spread some out here. Let me put that, let me close this up and I'll show you. I think with the pearl or spreading it out like this, you probably will see it more. But can you see, I mean, look at that pearly shine. It's just beautiful, beautiful. I mean, there's a lot of great pastes out there. I also like Simon Hurley's paste, and I like Hero Art's paste. The thing with the Shimmer Relief paste is they all have that shimmer in it that's just gorgeous, and it's easy to spread. So really, you could use whatever paste you have, but I like those. Okay, this is, I don't know if you guys remember, I should have pulled up the image, but a few months ago, I did a Lantana card from Altenew, and it showed a little key guide to where to glue die cuts to create a floral arrangement. And when I did that, I broke a rule and I told you that Altenew told me a hydrangea was coming, and now it's here. I think they're calling this collection of products Pop It Up products. And these are stamps and dies that work together that tell you how to arrange the die cuts. So this is the new Pop It Up Blooming Hydrangea. There is a stamp set and a die set. And what you see with the stamp set is it's a large image that is the leaves, and then a bunch of little letters scattered around, okay? The die set is a bunch of little flowers with letters on them. So when you die cut them, it impresses a letter on it. So you know where to glue each of these to come up with an arrangement that's nice. So you don't have to think about it. If you struggle with arranging die cuts and trying to get it just right, this is very helpful. So I did one card off screen, a quick one, but I'm going to do a variation of that card for you and add a few things to it. So this was the quick one I did off screen, and I did gold heat embossing for the leaves. I added a gold frame, which I'll show you how to do, and then I did ink blending on some flowers. Believe it or not, this was really fast to do because of a trick I'm going to show you. I didn't do each of these individually, and it saved me a lot of time. Now, I love the dramatic look of this where there's beautiful flowers and then the leaves are just outlined. If you wanted to color in the leaves, you definitely could. But I love this kind of dramatic look. I think it's beautiful and puts all the focus on those flowers. I used a sentiment that says, keep on blooming beautiful. I thought that was sweet, could be used with other flowers, but you could use any sentiment there. All right, so this technique of lining up the die cuts with the letters is something specific to these products. However, hold on, Lila's texting me, and I always respond to my kids. She just said, okay. Anyway, these are specific to these products, but the techniques I'm going to show for inking up the die cuts and adding texture to the die cuts and adding the frame could be done with other products too. I want to make sure that that's clear. And this is one that I plan to mass produce, believe it or not. Okay, so I did some prep off screen because again, this was my creative therapy time. On this example, I gold heat embossed that large image. And again, remember, the large image is the leaves and all these little letters. It's all one big image. Now this, I did gold heat embossing here. For this one, I did silver heat embossing. And it's on a 4 1/4 by 5.5 inch panel. All right. I also did a little die cutting. I have here, let's see, yeah, that's right. I have here some dies that are actually from Christina Werner. Christina Werner has the thin frames and more thin frame die sets, and they're available in A2 and 5x7. And these different die sets come with sentiments too, but I just have the thin frames on this board, magnetic board that I keep to grab easily. And this is one of the thin A2 thin frame dies, and I'm going to use that on this card. So this is an A2 card, but do know if you wanted to do 5x7 with the technique I'm doing, you could, using Christina's thin frames and more thin frame die sets, and those are linked below. Okay, so I have one of those dies from Christina. It cuts a thin frame. I'm going to cut it directly from my background. I'm just going to center it on this A2 card panel. Yeah, the thin frames are great. One of the things I like about how Christina did these, hang on, let me get them centered. I'm going to tape it because I don't want it to move, because I don't want to have to go back and heat emboss this again. One of the things I really like about Christina's thin frame dies is that there's this extra metal on the outside. And that doesn't seem important, but that keeps the die from warping. It stays true to a rectangle size when you put it through the pressure of the die cut machine. So I really appreciate that. So now I have the negative space, a thin frame, and then the center space. And what I plan to do is take out this one and put in a glitter one. So there's like a thin frame along it. And I'll tell you why I'm doing it this way. But first, let me get an A2 card panel, or card base. This is a 4 1/4 by 5.5 inch card base. Where'd it go? Where'd it go? Where'd it go? Okay. I just have some Altenew adhesive. I'm going to put adhesive over the front. Did I just run out? Dang it. I just put in an order for more today. This is Altenew adhesive, tape runner. You could use whatever adhesive you want, but basically I'm putting a good amount around like the outside inch. Onto that, I will place the negative space here. This is 4 1/4 by 5.5, and I'll place that down. There we go. Okay. Then into that, I'll put my glitter frame that I cut with the same frame die. I'll talk about the glitter cardstock I used in a moment. Then in the center of that, I'll put the final stamped piece. So I'm basically inlaying this glitter frame. And so it's nice and smooth. Let me get that in there good. There we go. Excuse me. So see how it's nice and smooth? You just have that nice glitter inlaid frame. Now, there's a reason I inlaid that glitter. Is if I just took a thin frame like this and tried to glue it down, I might get it a little wonky. And that happened a little bit with my gold frame that I just glued on top. So by die cutting it and inlaying it gives it I can be short straight, and also just gives it a nice finished look. Now the glitter paper that I used for that, I used the same rectangle die, frame die. This is Altenew Moonstone glitter cardstock, which I talk about a lot. It is a white glitter cardstock that I think is beautiful. It doesn't have like iridescent glitter in it so that it doesn't turn colors. You can see there's no color to it. It's just like a whitish, very light silver glitter. And I just love it. You could use gold, or like here I use gold foil. You could use silver foil here, but I wanted something a little more subtle than that bold frame. So I thought I would try the Moonstone. And I'm gonna save this piece for something else. We'll use it in a moment. Okay, so now we have our card base. Now, next up, we have this die set. This is the Hydrangea, Blooming Hydrangea die, and it goes with the stamp set. And it's one big die that cuts all of your petals. And there is a guide in here that tells you exactly what to do. I don't think you need it, but it's up to you. So off screen, I created just a piece of white cardstock where I blended a little bit of Alpine Aster ink. Up here, you can tell it's not smooth. It doesn't matter. I just did a light amount. And then down here, I did Pinkalicious. I wanted the petals on my hydrangea to be pinks and purples. I'll throw in some blue later also. So from that, I'm just going to take this die and place it on top and run that through my die cut machine. Now this not only cuts out all of those little flowers, it also makes an impression of a letter on each of them. And I'm going to show you how that works. Oh good, Mary, I'm glad you used the lantana. Before I mentioned Altenew doing a lot of innovative products, that's what we're talking about here. So it cut out all of these, and then it's hard for you to see, but I can see, and I'm going to fill them in so you can see them better. There is an impressed letter at the center of all of these flowers. And I'm just tracing in those letters, so hopefully you'll be able to see them a bit better in the video. I'm not sure if you'll be able to, but I feel like this will increase the chances. So there's all of these letters, and they match up with a letter that stamp makes that I showed you before. So let me just trace these in with a pencil. You don't need to do this when you're making the card. I didn't on my first one. I'm just doing it for the video. So hopefully you can see those letters a bit better there. See them? Okay, so I put down a light amount of color here. This one I went pretty bright. This one I want to go a little lighter. So I have all my letters here. I'm just going to kind of leave them in the negative space. If you wanted to make this much faster to do, you could have just done like a mix of blues and pinks and purples blended together on the background and gone with what you had, which is what I did here. But I'm going to add some texture to these for my example. So for this one, I did what I just showed you, but I put more of the purple and pink and blue onto the cardstock, die cut them and glued them down. Saved me a ton of time. Yes, Gina, I did do a technique like this using this kind of stamp and die system with a lantana a few weeks ago, a couple months ago, but here I'm doing the hydrangeas, and I'm going to show some other techniques with it. Okay, now I thought it would be fun to add some texture to these flowers before I glued them onto my card. On this one I didn't add a texture, but on these I thought I'd try it. And I thought I would use this new embossing folder called Textured Blocks from Altenew. And you can see there are four different areas of texture on here. And I think these were meant to go with, oh dear, I don't know if I'll find them. They have a new die set that's Vases. And I know I had them and I put them away, so I don't think I'll be able, oh, I found them. Look at that. Sometimes when you put things away, you can find them. What a thought. Don't ask me if I put all my Black Friday away. No. Nope. Okay. So this is the new Earthenware Vases from Altenew. And it has vases and then some like greenery to go into it. But what you could do is die cut a vase, put it inside of this embossing folder and add these textures to the vases. But I thought I would add these textures to my petals, my flower petals. Why not? I am always looking for ways to add texture without too much bulk, and I thought this would work well. So there are these 4 different textures. I think I'm going to go with this one, which kind of looks like an orange peel kind of texture. This one would be more drastic, but I'm going to go with this one. So I'm going to just do the top right. And what I'll do is I'm going to put a few in there. I'll put in the first ones. I'm shedding. Hold on just one second. I want to just look at something. Yeah, okay. I'm going to go in order. So I have A there, B, C, D, E. I'll just start with those. Actually, I'll do F too because he flew out. And I'm just laying them into that section there that I want to use and run it through. Now you could do like a dot pattern. You could do all kinds of things. Now, a lot of people ask about the different sandwiches to use with different embossing folders. For Altenew 3D embossing folders, like with your spellbinders or with your Gina K Intricut, you just follow the sandwich recommended or the setting recommended for a 3D embossing folder. If you're using an Empress die cut machine, I use 1 clear plate, the magnetic shim, the embossing folder, and the metal shim on top. So I skip a clear plate. Yes, this is a 3D embossing folder. And this is going to give very little texture. It's probably not a whole lot of texture. I'm redoing it. I'm going to move it down here to this bottom section. Yeah, I think I'm going to move it because I used something so detailed on something small you didn't really see it. So I'm going to put it down here and see if it shows up more. I'll do this on regular cardstock so you can see it a little bit better. So I moved it down to the bottom right and we'll run that through. Okay. Oh yeah, you see the texture more on those. See the texture on those petals now? Let me set these aside, and while I do that, I'm also just going to put a piece of cardstock in here so you can see what the patterns look like. I'll just put it right in the middle. So you could actually do this on a background. Okay, so look at this. See the textures that you can get with that? In fact, I think it would be neat to mask off and do each quadrant a different color, and then you'd have a different texture on each. Add a sentiment or a flower image in the center and you're good to go. But this is the texture I'm putting on my leaves. I love that. All right, so I have these little flowers here, and I noticed that they're all a light color. So I'm going to add a little interest to it before I add it to my card. So I'm going to come in with the Alpine Aster and go a little bit heavier with it. And I might pull in some blue and pink too. What I've noticed is when you're gluing these down, I start with A and work my way up in the alphabet. And that means the lower letters in the alphabet, like A, B, C, D, E, all those, they're at the bottom of the flowers. So I feel like those should be darker because there'd be more shadow on them. So I'm just putting a little bit of darker color on this. You could have started with white cardstock and added some things, but I'm going with this. Let me get some, but I still will end up going kind of soft for it. So let's get some Pinkalicious and some, I want to pull in some blue and some pink. So I'm going to pull in turquoise and Pinkalicious. These are the 3 colors I'll add. For these bottom layers, which are the lower end of the alphabet, I'll add these colors darker. Oops, I picked the wrong one. For these lower letters in the alphabet, I'll go heavier with color. But then for the higher flowers, I'll go lighter with the color. I'm going to have to clean that one off. Okay. So just a little variation on there, okay? And I still, thankfully, can see here what letter's what. Okay. And I also, again, can you see on the die, see how there's the little letters that it engraves in the center? Okay, so now, this is where it's really easy. There's an A right there. I will put glue right around that A. Oh, I refilled this but didn't clean out the nozzle. Hang on just a second. There we go. I will put glue right around the A here. And the A, all of these letters are kind of angled. So I'll take the A here, which is this one, and I'm going to kind of angle it in the same direction and put it on top of the A. It doesn't have to be perfect. Then we have B, which is this one right here. I'll find the B here, put glue on the B, put the B on top. There we go. Easy. Then we have a C right here. Where's my C? Right there. Put glue on it and put them down. And then I think you can kind of get the idea of the rest of it. So they take the guesswork out by giving you the letters, and I put the letters down in order. Honestly, I'm not really sure if that's what they intend for you to do because I don't read instructions. But it works out really well. Where's F? F is right here. So you can see now they're going to start overlapping each other. So this one, let's see, F, I will put right there. All right, so there's the first ones. And again, if you don't want to put texture on them or ink them up each differently, you could save a lot of time. But by leaving them in this negative space, it keeps you from having to chase them all. So there's G, H, I, J, K, L. We'll go with those. And I'll run this through, add some texture. Isn't it? Yes, it is. It's mapping. I know Concord and Ninth came out with like a mapping system too, where you do a background dye and it gives like etched lines to help you map things out. This is just a variation of a mapping system, and I appreciate it because it takes all of that guesswork out for you. Okay. So there are my letters. Now, I'm just going to add a little bit, like a medium amount of ink to these. Doing a little bit of purple on some. You could map out, like say you want more purple on one side and more pink on the other. I don't think we need to spend the time. Must you put everything in its own letter, or could you go rogue and get similar? You could totally go rogue. Who is that? Lan? You could totally go rogue. But what you need to remember is not everybody enjoys going rogue. A lot of people, like me, would overthink the placements of some of these. And so by using the letters, did I just do the same colors again? I'm not with it today. By going with the system like this, it just saves you like the effort and pressure, I guess. So it just depends on you. Whatever works for you, and I like that there's the option. Now, if you don't have this system, what you could always do is pick like a floral image that's outlined like this. You could stamp just the leaf portion and then glue a bunch of little die cuts on top. Hey, Mike, can you scroll it? There's G. So now you can see them overlapping. H. And I'm using liquid adhesive just because it saves me a lot of time. H. Oops, I got to turn there. I might go rogue on the end anyways, which you probably will see. H, I, where's J? J. J's a big mama. J's this big mama down here. Noises help. J, K, and L. So again, if you wanted to save time, you could just glue them down like I did here. But I love that. Okay, let me put something heavy on that because now we're starting to layer. Okay, next up we have M, N, Lila's home. O, where did P go? Oh, P's right here. Q, R, S. All right, Mike, while I start doing these, Give me some questions.
All right, let's see.
All right. Unable to use the code for the Lauren, you asked some questions about the code and using points. I would tag Altenew because I feel like they could answer that question better than I could. I'm not sure what it is. The answer is.
Yeah, with respect to the points.
Yeah, I just, am I doing charity boxes again? You know what? Wait, QR, I can't think at the same time. I am. MNOPQR. I think I lost an S. Oh, it's right here. ST. Okay. I am doing, I normally, and I lied to you all and I didn't mean to. It was an accidental lying. I normally on Thanksgiving put up a post that is where you can put your information if you're interested in getting a crafty goodie box, and all you have to do is make a donation to a charity and I send it to you. I didn't do that this year. To be honest with you, I was so involved with Black Friday that I just simply forgot to do it. So I'll do it again soon. But basically what will happen is it'll be a post where I say, you know, you could get a giant box of crafty goodies. It's like hundreds and hundreds of dollars worth of product. And you just pay a donation to a charity so that no money goes to me. Because some of the products I have, I bought, and some I was given, and I will not sell things that I was given, and I don't want to take the time to figure out what I was given and all. So I just say, you make a donation to a charity and I'll send it to you. And that's worked well in the past. So
I put in chat the link to the older post because that's where I pulled the names from.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mike just put a link. No, I did.
And point out that we also pick randomly, and there's a lot of people posting there. So
yes,
use the lottery. You gotta just pick random.
So Mike put a link in the chat. Sorry, I'm trying to think at the same time. He put a link in the chat that says, that gives you where he's drawing names from now, which is last year's Thanksgiving post.
That's a couple years ago.
Oh, a couple years ago. So there was one last year, wasn't there?
I don't think so.
Oh, well, there you go. Jennifer.
Well, I searched for the word goodie. So.
Oh, cute. Okay. Well, if you go to that and leave a comment on that, that's where he's drawing from now until because he's putting some boxes together now, until I put up another post. QRS. This is so much easier if you're not talking while you do it. Oh, that was P. P. Really, you can change these up, but if you follow their images, you'll get them all positioned just right. And the texture on this is just beautiful. I can't wait to show it to you. But let's finish. One last round. Okay. Shwink. All right. What happened to the K? Did I mess my K up? I might have messed my K up. K's right there. Oh, somebody asked about the K. I might have messed up, but it looks right. It says K, and it's in the spot for K, but I might have messed it up. If you already signed up, do you need to sign up again? No. If you have signed up on that post already, you don't need to sign up again. All you do is you say your name and what state you're from. I don't know why I did that, but Mike whenever there's boxes ready, he randomly picks a name and will email you. You don't need to leave your email.
Address.
You don't need you don't need to leave your address. Please don't leave your address. You don't want that out there. And he'll contact you if he randomly chooses your name. Okay, I was on, let's see, STUVW XZ. I think there's a Y, but I think it might have flown away. Nope, it was a Y. Okay, so this is the top layer. So I'm gonna go light on this. You can see there's already some pink here. So I'll just do a little bit of shading of pink on these. A little bit of, you can do these in, if you want to save time, just use regular cardstock. You don't have to use inked cardstock. I often, with die cuts, just use plain cardstock, and people say to me, why don't you ink them? It gives them more life. So I try to do a little mix of each, so you can kind of see different options. Okay, there we go. So in all of it, I used the same 3 colors of ink. Yeah, I'm still in my jammies. I can't help it. No, you don't need to leave your name and city here. You have to go to the post that Mike linked. Mike will add it to the chat again. Okay. So we've got W. Oh, U. U. V. And you can see how they're all layering up. Oops. I missed one right here. Hold on. There we go. V. I moved my R. See, I didn't put enough glue behind these, that it didn't reach my die cuts, but it's okay. U, V, W, X, Y, Z. W, X, Y, Z. So see how they're all layering together, and you end up with a beautiful arrangement. Some of mine shifted when I picked them up, but that's okay. I'll just do a little shift here. I'll move him over, and then we're good. Okay, so there we go. See how they're all arranged? I'm gonna put a heavy magnet on it because I really wanna make sure that stays put. And what you end up with is a bouquet. Now, I'm gonna give that a moment to dry, and then I'll show you what it looks like, okay? But next, the center of the flowers, if you want to save time, hang on. If you want to save time, you could simply do like a white gel pen dot at the center, or like a maybe a little gemstone, or like a dark marker dot at the center. But I like adding the little die cut centers. So I'm going to show you how to do that. Hello, welcome Diane. You're never late to the party. You can come anytime. So the die cuts these little insides, and I just put them at the center of the flowers. I'm going to pop them all out now, just so my flowers there have a little time to dry. If you want your hydrangea to be more full, you definitely could add more petals in if you wanted to. I'm not going to do that, but you could if you wanted to. Let's see, did I get most of them out? I think I did. Okay, and then these sparkly flowers are beautiful too. Oh, hi, Ileana. Thank you. Thank you so much. I hope you're doing well. I need to connect with you because I think we have something in common. If you have my email, email me, okay? But remember, there is information on the packaging to follow along. And if you look, this matches up. So you always have that to look at. Okay, so I've got these little centers. I think these are mostly glued down. Now, can you see the texture? I love it. Okay, now, you can still see my letters, right? So what you do is you put a drop of adhesive on each of those letters. I'm sorry if my head gets in the way. Then you pick up a little die cut glitter center and add it. So easy, and it covers up those pencil marks. You remember, you didn't have to do the pencil mark, so it would be covering up just the indentation that the die made with the corresponding letter. You could, it's easier to put these little dots on at the end than as you go. So I'm putting just dots of liquid. You can see some of my flowers are moving because I haven't given it enough time to dry. Let me go squeeze. If you wanted to, you could put foam dots behind some of these so they have a little dimension. I want to see Lila. Is she here?
Yeah.
I told her to come down and see me. She's being shy. I hope she didn't have a bad day. All right. Can you text her? See, I didn't put enough glue behind these. So there we go. Okay. All right. Is there another question, Mike? While I glue my last little flowers on, because I want to finish this guy. I think it's so pretty. Another thing, oh, by the way, another thing you could have done is put like a section of letters down and then put the dots on the center. And then another section, but I waited till the end. It works fine, but it's up to you. So honestly, I don't feel like this took that long to do with the beautiful results that you get. Lord knows I spend a lot more time than this usually on a card. Oh, look at that. Isn't that beautiful? I really like this Moonstone glitter. See how, look at that. Is it possible to ink blend a little over the sandstone? Oh, the Moonstone glitter cardstock. Yes, you can ink over it, but keep in mind, if you do like a dark color of ink on it, it'll end up lighter and you'll have to heat set it. Another thing you can do is alcohol ink. Man, I can't catch the sparkle of the center of those flowers. There we go. See that sparkle at the center of the oh, I had it. Yeah, it went away. There we go. Every once in a while it catches it. And I just think that's beautiful. So I have two here. This is the Hydrangea Blooms, or Blooming Hydrangea. And on this one, I just did flat die cuts. On this one, I added the texture. And it's just a fun alternative. So think of all those little die cuts. You can add texture to them using an embossing folder. And this particular textured blocks embossing folder from Altenew that's new is great for these little detailed flowers. The Christina Werner, and I have all these glitter flowers I can save for something else. The Christina Werner thin frames, I have those linked in the YouTube description below. You can get those at Simon Says Stamp or at Concord and 9th. Now, the only thing I have left on here is to stamp a sentiment. Honestly, you can put a sentiment like here on the packaging, they put a sentiment here. I put a sentiment up here because I saw when Altenew showed me this die set, they showed me a card with the sentiment up here. Normally I wouldn't do that, but I loved it. So I will probably add a little sentiment here, but to be honest with you, what I will likely do is leave this card as is. And then when I have an occasion that pops up, I can put it here. Like this would work with sympathy, birthday, thinking of you, pretty much anything you want. But here's my little recommendation. Give it time to dry, which I didn't do. There we go. Okay, so look how pretty that is. So we just need a sentiment up along the top. And really you could do a variety of sentiments. There are sentiments in here, like we appreciate you would look nice up at the top. Thinking of you. You could also add a little sentiment strip down here, maybe put a little butterfly die cut up here. But I just thought these were nice. Hi, Pamela. And you can see the difference. You may like one better than the other, totally up to you. But I do like that on this one, I inlaid the frame. On this one, I glued it on top. And I'm not sure I got it really straight, but by inlaying, I can be sure it's straight. So there you go. Okay, that's card one. That's the Blooming Hydrangea. I've been excited to use that, and there we have it. And you can change those colors all you want. The glitter center is nice because the glitter center matches the frame. Like here I use gold matte cardstock at the center and on the frame, and it kind of pulls it all together.
And that's Altenew glitter cardstock.
That's Altenew Moonstone glitter cardstock. It is the most beautiful. It's not silver. It's not silver. Let's see if I can find a piece of silver glitter cardstock. I don't have any silver glitter cardstock here, but this is silver matte cardstock. You can see it's very white compared to it. So it's a white glitter cardstock that doesn't have iridescent color to it. All right. Let's see. What do I want to do next? Because I don't know that I'm going to be able to do them all today. I might have to do some of them this weekend. Let's do this one. Okay. Next we have, I'll show you the card. this is the card. I might do a little variation in the live, but you can see the front of the card is a clear element on the bottom, but it still stands up nicely on display, and it looks like it's floating because there's clear element. And then the inside matches up. So you write up here, and you can see the dots on the bottom inside and that beautiful stenciling. Okay, so I've got some techniques to share with you here, and then that fun kind of floating bottom card design. How do I come up with these ideas? I just have no life. Question, any tips on layering these thin frames? I'm having a hard time doing it. When you want to layer thin frames together, I put like liquid adhesive on one, put the other on top, and then I go around like this, running my fingers around it so I make sure that they land on top of each other. It works really, really well. The thin frame dies might be sold out everywhere. They're very popular, but I'm sure they'll be back in stock. Okay, so the stencil set I wanted to use today is new from Altenew. It's the Majestic Blooms. They have a lot of beautiful layering stencils like this one, but what I was excited about with this one is it fills an A2 card front wonderfully, but I'm going to change it up. Okay, so these stencils do two big blossoms here, two big full roses that cover an entire A2 card panel. See how it fills it up so nicely in that example? And it shows you this is the bouquet you get, and there's the how you layer it together, but it's super easy. But to give you an idea, I mean, these are the two roses, and this, between that and the leaves you add, it really fills a card nicely. Oh, this is, okay. So it, let's see, hold please. It fills, I'm trying to line these up. It really fills a card nicely. It'll hang off the edges. But you got two really big flowers here, see? Now, for my card, I wanted only one flower up here in the corner. So I'm gonna do a little masking, but it's really easy to do. And this gives you more life, because when I originally did this, you could see like part of the second flower down here, and it was cut off, and it didn't look just right. So I decided to do it again and do some masking, and I'll share that with you. Okay, let's hope I remember how to do this, because again, I came up with these a while ago. All right, so I have a piece of white cardstock here, and I will put down the first stencil in the set. So this says stencil number 1. I'm just going to put it down using a magnet here. I'm working on glass magnetic work surface. You could use a sticky mat if you wanted to. But I plan, hold on, I need to think for a moment. I've got a technique. I forgot about a technique because I did this so long ago. This is why I do things last minute. Okay, I wanted to show you that in the stencil set, you have all of these stencils that create these roses. But I wanted to have a light blue background with a bright yellow flower. So let me show you first how I did the blue background with these stencils. This is the technique. I'm going to take this stencil, put it on a piece of white cardstock, and I will create a hinge using some tape right across the top edge here. I don't know where my roll of Spellbinders tape went. Okay, so see how there's just a hinge up here? All right, now we're gonna do a little technique-y poo. That's gonna be my new name for it. Let me get some ink and put my old ones away, because if I don't, I will be drowning here soon. Okay, I'm using sea glass. I usually like dewdrops or sea glass. Now what we'll do here is I have my die cut machine plates ready to go, as I would normally use them for die cutting. Nothing fancy here. I will take my sea glass ink pad and dab it all over the back side of this stencil. So this is stencil number 1. I taped it to the top of my cardstock, flipped it up so I'm inking the back side. Doesn't matter how smooth it is. You can use a brayer if you want. Flip it down, then put it in between your cutting plates, as if you are die cutting, but you're not die cutting. Rachel, I agree. It's the perfect color. It's the color of my entire house. Okay, I'm going to warn you. It is going to be, I'll talk about the tape in a moment. It's going to be splotchy. We just do it again. So can you see it's there? But it's a little splotchy, so let's do it again. All right, so let's put some more. This time I'm going to kind of smear it, spread the ink around. You can do it either way. You can use a brayer, whatever you want. We're going to do it a few times. Flip it down. Run it through again. So basically what we're doing is pressing that ink onto the cardstock. Do you have trouble cutting through glitter cardstock? Any plate that has multiple cuts won't cut. No, I don't. I tend to use, for glitter cardstock, either Spellbinder's glitter cardstock and Altenew glitter cardstock. Those are the most common ones that I use, and I find they die cut beautifully and it doesn't rub off. So I haven't had any problems with those. If you have trouble die cutting through something tricky like acetate or glitter paper, what I recommend doing is put the die on the glitter paper. Then behind that glitter paper, put a piece of scrap cardstock and it'll give more pressure. This is Easy C tape. Somebody asked about this tape. It is like a highlighter tape, a temporary tape that I use for die cutting. And it comes in different colors. I just happen to be using pink right now. Okay, so see how my background is blue. Okay, it'll smooth out as it dries. Now you can see a little warping in my cardstock. That's my fault. I had this extra shim in here that didn't need to be here, so it put a little too much pressure on the cardstock, but that's okay. All right, so I didn't need to have that shim in there, but it'll still work fine. Okay, so now there's my background. Can you scroll it? Okay, now let's put that back down. I might as well leave it taped. I'm going to flip it down. This is stencil number 1. So I did that inked stencil technique on the background stencil, that where the flowers are big and solid. So this is the first stencil. And this works with a lot of the Altenew stencils. It would also work with some of the like Gina K stencils. She's got beautiful floral stencils too. All right, next I'm going to take light. I want this to be a light yellow flower on a blue background. Because if I would have tried to do a light yellow flower on a blue cardstock background, I would have ended up with green. But by doing the technique I did, I can have the blue around my light yellow. Okay, so let's start with butternut. This is a great light yellow. I need to clean the feet of my ink stand because it's moving. There we go. Now it'll stay put. Let me show you what this color is, butternut. It's a beautiful light yellow. It dries lighter too. So I will put light yellow over this. I had darker yellow on my brush. It's okay. And then this one here, I'm not going to ink. I'm not going to ink it. I'm just going to cover that up and not ink it. I'm going to pretend that second flower doesn't exist. Okay? You can see I spent a lot of time on that inking. No, there is no difference between the colors of Easy C tape. They're just random. There's green, purple, orange, and pink, and maybe blue. Okay, so there we go. See how there's light yellow there? I'm not doing this flower. In fact, I could put tape over it, but I'm just gonna leave it. Okay, so that's stencil number 1. Done with it. Stencil number 2. The reason I like Easy C tape is it does not tear my cardstock. Never tears it. Okay, so stencil number 2, I'm gonna place, I can line it up easily with the rows I've already done. I don't want to ink all of this here, the second rose. Remember, I'm pretending he's not there so that he doesn't peek on this little corner. It was distracting in the final result, so I'm just gonna mask that off. No one will ever know. All right, so let's go with, see, I overthink. Let's go with fresh lemon, which is a brighter yellow. Remember, you don't have to use all the same yellows to make it. Oh, I inked up there. Forgot to mask it. You could do like one layer could be like an orangey yellow, one layer could be like a greeny yellow. It doesn't matter. It's all going to layer together just fine. All right, so there's stencil number 2. I'm trying to keep this light. You could go for bold if you wanted to. This is Altenew products. Will rubber stamps without blocks get ruined in storage envelopes? Will the edges, and I don't think so. I don't think so, but I would contact companies who have them and ask them. I have never had any problems with it. Okay, stencil number 3. Put my magazines down. Again, I don't want to ink up this flower, so I'm going to put some mask down. Because I am determined not to ink that guy. I could. It just didn't look good in the final result. And I'm kind of anal about that kind of stuff. Okay, let's go a little darker here. Let's go with chamomile. Let's go with chamomile. Okay. So you can see this. Ah, so pretty. I'm going to kind of go medium application here. Not too heavy, not too light. Again, you could go really high contrast and end up with a bold flower if you want. But I wanted the look of this lighter yellow flower on the blue background. Let's see how that looks. Yeah, look at that. And notice, I'm not taking much time to ink up all the different areas. Come on, Mama. I should have marked. There we go. You just kind of rotate it until it lines up. There we go. So I am not taking much effort to make sure that I get good blending. It all works out well with these. Let me see if that's dark enough. Nope. Let's get a darker color. I'm going to go with Snapdragon, which is a beautiful light orange. These are 2 colors. Let me show you these. These are 2 colors I really like together with yellows. That was Butternut. This is Chamomile. Just beautiful. It's like a light orange. It'll soften a bit. And this is Snapdragon, which is like the perfect orange. And those colors really go well together. So when I want to do a light yellow flower, I always start with that and I end with that orange in the darkest areas. Okay, come on. So little effort. Do you find the bigger brushes don't grab the finer stencil points? I'd never have a problem. I would have a problem when I used a foam applicator sometimes. It would catch it because these are more forgiving. Okay, now we have the leaves. So here is the leaf. The nice thing is there's an etching on it that you probably can't see in the video, but it helps me. There's an etching of the rose shape. So I know if I line it up with the rose up here, my petals are going to go in the right place. Now notice I'm going on top of that light blue background. That's okay because I'm doing green. And even if there's that light blue behind it, it won't show much. Okay, I got to put some things away. I have so many things I want to share tonight. Mike, would you mind checking on Lila? I'll make sure she's okay. I think Ken's up there too. Okay, my firefly is missing in action. So I'm going to go with bamboo. Let's go in with bamboo. Isn't it pretty? Instant beauty. See, that's what I am loving about these products. Now I'm going to go ahead and do all of the leaf for my final card. Even the one that kind of goes up to the flower. The second flower that I'm not doing. So I put down first bamboo. This is a great kind of limey green. It's beautiful. It's an oldie but goodie that I use a lot, and they have cardstock to match. Then stencil 6. But see how this, I like these kind of innovative products that take like the guesswork out of things and make it easy for you to get really good results without much effort, because I am not good at coloring. In fact, I have a video coming out this week showing a hack for getting beautiful colored results without using markers, because it's just not my jam. I'm not good at it. This is another good green. It's in a different color family, but I like it. It's like a Kelly green, a little bit darker. It's called Grass Field. So let's put that on here. You could do careful blending on this if you wanted to. As I mentioned, you could also do multiple colors. So you don't have to do one color over it. You could do some darker at the center. But I find with these kind of layering stencils, especially from Altenew, it does enough like kind of shading look for you. And then this one, let's see where it is. Oh, I've got it upside down. There's etched lines, so you can line it up. Let me get my leaves lined up. There we go. And then this is the final one. Yeah, I'm not good at coloring. Here's the thing. I could get better at coloring if I took the time to practice, but I don't enjoy it. You got to understand, everybody has different joys in crafting, right? Like Christina Werner, that girl can color. She can do lettering. Those things are therapeutic and enjoyable for her. For me, they're stressful. So I don't do them. But if you want to get better at it, you just practice. I just don't enjoy the practice, so I'm not going to. So that's why I've been really happy these last few years with the layering stencils. Now, remember, this would be even more majestic if I would have done this flower here. I just wanted this one because the other flower would have like overlapped and it wouldn't have worked well here. It was too distracting. This looked better with the one yellow rose. All right, so let me put this stuff away because I have a mess. Let me wipe off my hands. So there we have a beautiful yellow rose. And I think I probably used the same colors on my card example. I'm not sure. You could do light pink, but I think a soft yellow rose is just beautiful. Okay. All right, now I wanted to do this kind of fun angle here. And you could either just use your trimmer to cut a line here and then cut perpendicular to that. But I cheated. I used one of the A7 frames from Christina Werner. Before I used A2, this is the A7. And I laid it down so it would cut at the angle I want. See how I can cut it? And I can cut it so that it chops out some of that white. So again, you could cut this wherever you want, but I'm gonna do it right like that. And it's gonna be cut this way. Kind of see how, so I'm kind of eyeballing it. So I think right about there is good. Now let me put some tape on this. I'm gonna have to cut a little bit off. Okay, so I'm gonna cut some of this off here. I don't need this bottom portion, so I'll cut that off. Again, if you don't have a large rectangle frame, you can just cut one angle and then turn it in your trimmer and cut that angle, and then you'd be good. But I'm gonna cheat. I'm using a large frame die. It doesn't really matter what size frame die, I just picked a big one because it would allow me to do the big piece. Also, one of the things I've really discovered is a simple card design can be really stepped up by doing an angle like this. So if you think about it, this card would be really simple if it was just straight across, but the angle adds some fun to it. What color was that last one? The last green I did was called Just Green. Some of my favorites to layer together from Altenew, they're actually from different families. Okay, for the lightest, I do Firefly or Parrot. For the medium, I do Grass Fields. And for the darkest, I do Just Green. I just seem to reach for those a lot. So there we go. I can ignore this frame thing. I don't need it. Okay. Let's see. Let's see what I got here. I have glitter in my face. Not from this paper. It was from something before. Now I need to cut it down to be the size of a note card. So I'm going to cut, whoa. Okay, so it's this way. I'm going to cut it. I'm going to go cut the side off here. See how that is? That's good. So now that flat edge I can put up here. So you could also just lay this onto an A2 card panel to know where to cut it. And then this, 4¼ inches wide. And this is something you could totally eyeball if you wanted to. There's a million ways to do it. But an angle like this, you probably see me do it many times in videos. When I have a background or something large like this where I want to keep the focus, adding an angled background adds interest without covering anything up. Okay, so there we have our corner. You can see my size is smaller, a little bit smaller, but that's okay. All right, so now I need a top folding note card. This is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 inches. Okay, I have a bunch of, that one's narrow. Oh no, did somebody cut all these wrong? Please tell me nobody cut all these wrong. Uh-oh, I don't have any more in here. Dang it, I gotta make one. I have a bunch in the other room. Is she good?
Yes.
Did you check on her?
She's taking her makeup off.
Oh, is Ken here?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so I'm gonna create a note card because all my pre-made note cards are in the other room. So this is just 8 1/2 by 11. I scored it in half at 5 1/2. And then I cut that in half at 4 1/4. And that gives me 2 top folding note cards. One for this project, one for the next project. Now I want to cut this card to the same shape as this. So I'll just put some adhesive on the back of this, just a bit. It's just gonna be temporary. And lay it at the top edge. So that's at the folded edge of the card. I will then keep the card closed and cut at these angles. Actually, I'm going to cut, let me think. No, first. I've got these gold glitter frames. And I'm going to glue, this is gold glitter cardstock from Altenew. And I cut it with that same large frame die from Christina Werner. If you don't have frame dies, you could just put a piece of gold cards, thin strip of gold cardstock here and here. But what I'll do is glue that down, but I don't want it to be permanent. So I'm just going to put, this is their, what is the gold glitter cardstock called from Altenew? I can't remember. Is it gold? Mike, you might have to look. And put it right up against this, just temporarily. You'll see why it's temporary in a moment. I just put it right up against the edge there. Okay.
You mean the gilded?
Is it gilded? Is that what it's called?
Gilded glitter cardstock. Well, I gotta see what the individual color is.
And I'm cutting through the card at these angles. So I'm gonna have this funky looking card. It'll make more sense in a moment. Okay, so here is our card. Take that off. It looks funny. Give me a moment and we'll make it look better. Why am I sneezy today? Like, kind of sneezy. Okay, for the front of the card, let's do the, well, no, let's do the inside of the card first. So I need to do this back here. And what I did is I put a light dot pattern on it. Okay? So when you look through, you see a light dot pattern. Hang on. Okay, this I did with a press plate. There are different things you could use, but I'm in love with this press plate and I thought I'd use it again. So you could, if you are making this card and you don't have a better press machine, you could instead use a stamp here, any background stamp. In fact, any stencil would be great on that, right? But what I'm gonna do, I am sleepy. What I'm gonna do is a press plate. So, piece of white cardstock. You could use press plate, better press paper, which is a cotton thicker paper that'll give a better impression, but I'm just using regular white cardstock. And I glue it temporarily, you could use tape too, to the center of the top portion of my better press system. Now the plate I'm going to use is called Delightfully Dotted. This is one of my most used press plates, and it happens to be from Altenew. And I'm putting it right at the center here. Altenew has a few press plates that I use often because they're just good patterns. But this one is, I think, probably one of my most used. This and the burlap one. I have butternut ink, which is the lightest yellow. You could go more bold if you wanted to. I wanted light. It's hard to see in the video, but it's there. And I'm just kind of tapping and swirling that ink on the raised area. So this is a press plate. Press plate will give you a little bit of an impression, but really the best part about it is it gives you a really striking, crisp result that you could never get from stamping. All right, so it's in the center there. My cardstock's on the center here. Run that through my die cut machine. You can use this with watercolor paper is great for this, Phyllis. You're right. Watercolor paper works really well with the Better Press system. It will give a deeper impression, but I just used regular white cardstock. And look at that. Isn't that cool? So you get a, ooh, sorry, I tapped that. You get a little impression and you get crisp results. Isn't that nice? And I really like this delightfully dotted press plate from Altenew. I think it's just beautiful. I think it's beautiful because it's not too distracting. You could actually do it over an image. So for example, this, I could do that press plate over this, even without ink, and it would give a slight little dotted pattern to it, which would be fun. But I'm just gonna have it peeking out the bottom of my card. See, it'll peek from the inside. Very subtle in the video, but much better. Yes, Pam, you're right. Hi, Pam. Inexpensive watercolor paper works great too with the Better Press machine. Here's the thing. Better Press machine with press plates will give you crisp results no matter what paper you use. But if you want more of an impression, you need to use a softer paper like the Spellbinder's Better Press paper or watercolor paper. And I have to say, I think I'm frenzied and kind of all over the place today. I feel that. Am I, Mike? He would never tell me. Not really, he said. If I am, I apologize. I think because I had so much I was excited about, I'm a little, and it's the New Year's depression that kicks in. Okay, so we have our little angled piece from earlier. I think what I'll do next is glue it onto this panel. So this panel that I just did the Better Press on is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 inches, the size of our card. Now this was our top folding note card that I cut at the angle. It started at 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, but then I cut the bottom at the angle. So I'm gluing it so that the folded edge lines up at the top here. So now you have like this funky shape opening, but the dots show here. See those dots? So I'm going to run a thin line of liquid adhesive along that edge and lay. Erica's texting me. Thank you, Erica. Erica's one of my friends who's here in the comments, and she just sent me a text of encouragement. I'm sorry I look at my texts, but I made a deal with my kids that if they text me, I'll respond. So that way, if I text them, they have to respond. So I just put gold glitter cardstock right up against that angled edge. If you don't have a rectangle frame die to do that, just do a thin gold strip here and a thin gold strip here, and it would look just fine. Okay. I also put some adhesive on the back of this. I use that tape runner on the back, so I'll just use my adhesive eraser from Pink and Maine to take that glue off. Pattern papers. I do have some videos on using pattern papers. Here's the thing, I don't tend to buy pattern papers because I like to make my own. That's a joy for me. But if you like pattern papers, you could do a pattern paper down here or a pattern paper up here. You don't have to create your own pattern paper. Okay, now we need that acetate piece for the bottom edge. So I have a piece of acetate here. It's 4 1/4 inches wide. It's too big. I'm going to cut some of it off. I don't have to, but I'm going to. I can save this little strip for something else. But now it's about 4 1/4 inches wide, which is the width of our card, by about 4 1/2 inches tall. Now watch what I do. On this front flap here, I'll put adhesive. You could use liquid adhesive, but it's going to take longer to dry because it's acetate and I don't want to take the time. So there's adhesive on this flap. I'm going to take my acetate and line it up at the bottom and the sides and lay it into that adhesive. So let me show you. I'm going to line it up. So see, it's stuck to this here, and the bottom, these edges down here line up with the back side of our card. Okay? I don't know if you can see that in the video. So the overall size is 4 1/4 by 5.5 inches. Acetate. What type of acetate is this? This happens to be Pink Fresh acetate, which is a nice heavyweight acetate. But remember, you can use packaging. Some of the packaging, like the backside of stamps is thick enough, or some of the packaging that 3D embossing folders come in sometimes is thick enough. Any kind of recycled thick acetate would work here. You could also use a heavyweight vellum. Okay, so that is there. Now this is all not pretty here, but that's okay. We have this. This is our stamped or stenciled rose piece. And I'm going to line that up in the corner. I'm so excited about this card. I want to make 42 of them. All right. But now I'm going to have a gold piece here. And I did the 2 cards a little, I'm using liquid adhesive here. It'll take longer to dry. I did these 2 cards a little different this time than I did on my example because I had an idea in mind, and you'll see in a moment. But onto that, I'll put my gold. Look at that. Isn't that pretty? Right up against the edge. I'll show you the difference in a moment. But cut that off. Now that will take a little longer to dry because I use liquid adhesive on top of acetate, but it'll dry just fine. Okay, so see how you have, look at that. Isn't that cool? How it lines up. Now on this one, on here you can see the gold glitter cardstock strip on the inside. You can see on the front of the card. On this one, I lined them up, so the gold glitter is in the same spot on the front and the inside. I wanted a wider gold, and I thought this would look kind of cool. Okay. Now, I don't have my sentiment done. I must have forgot to prep that, but that's okay. We'll come up with something here. There are a few things I would do to finish this. I'll show you the sentiment I used. I'm going to not make a sentiment for the card I made because it's just going to take time from other techniques I want to show you. But this With Love here, I just glued it onto the front, so it's kind of floating, hanging off. But honestly, the only glue that's holding this sentiment onto the card is the glue right behind the L. So it's floating on that acetate, which I think is so cool. When it stands on display, I wish you could see it on display. That doesn't work. When it stands on display, look how the front looks like it's floating. Isn't that cool? Now you could zhuzh this up if you wanted to, but I'm not going to. I think the striking flower and the clear piece is really cool. So, let me show you what I used. For the sentiment on this one, I used With Love, and this is from a set that I'm going to show you in a moment. I'm not sure which example I'm going to do yet. But I stamped With Love with black ink on white cardstock, used the coordinating die to cut it out, and added it to the front of the card. But honestly, on this one, I probably will leave the sentiment off so that I can add any sentiment that I need for occasion, because again, this is a card design like this one that I created earlier that can be used for a variety of occasions. So you could do, thinking of you with sympathy, this could be a wedding card. In fact, what would be beautiful for this is, like, say you know somebody's getting married and you know the colors of their wedding will be purple. Do a purple card. Christina Werner did that for my second oldest daughter, Audrey. She had a wedding, and she got married, and Christina Werner made her a card using the colors of her wedding. So the card was extra special. In fact, I think she did a video on it. So it made it even more impressive for the recipient because that thought went into it. So you could do this design in a person's favorite colors or the colors of their wedding. So you could add any sentiment here. Now, let me show you where this With Love is from, because I have cards, I have 2 cards planned with this set, 3 cards, but I'm not sure I'm going to get to them. Yeah, I've got so many things I want to share. I'm going to have to do a second live. Shoot. Mike's thinking he wants a night off at some point. I might have to do a second live, but I can show you the things I'm working on. So if you plan to order things, you could order them with the deal. But this bundle, I was giddy about, and you're going to see in a moment. This is called the Stitched with Love bundle. It is the Craft Your Life project kit for this month. Now let me tell you about Craft Your Life, because I always get questions on this. Craft Your Life is a subscription you can do with Altenew. So every month you would get a bundle like this, and you get a discount on it, and you save on other things too. There are some add-ons you can do and other subscription products, but you don't have to subscribe to get this. You can just buy the bundle. It's just regular price. The subscribers get a cheaper price. But this month's, which you can buy without the subscription, is called Stitched with Love, which is totally up my alley. If you know me, I stitch constantly. In fact, I've made like 4,000 rainbows lately that are stitched. Ask Mike. It's somebody's soul for poetry said, poor Mike. Yeah. Poor Mike. So I'm into stitching. So I think this is a fantastic one. Deb Brown, I do know they have more coming. I'll just tell you that. Okay, so this Stitched with Love bundle, it has a few things. Here's a stamp set. Look at this fun texture. In fact, I might stamp this texture on some die cuts later. It's a way of giving the look of texture without bulk. So you could stamp this on your die cuts or have like a focal point at the center of cards. Here's another like texture you can stamp. And then there's some fun sentiments. I'm excited about this because there's You're So Amazing, S-E-W, and So Happy for You, and Sending Stitches of Joy. Those sentiments, there's also You're Cute as a Button, but those sentiments work really well with like these stitch backgrounds that I do. I do plan to do another video on these stitch backgrounds. This is done with an Altenew pegboard background die, but I'm thankful for sentiments that go with it. But the stamp set is like the minor player in this bundle. I'm going to show you some of the other things. There are also dies in this bundle. Includes these large floral dies, large scissors, large floss, which I stitch with, buttons, needles, needle and thread, pins, and some stitching. Let me show you the dies. Look how big these are. So you can make big scissors, these little floss, and if you look on the Altenew website, there are so many great examples. There's these flowers, which I'm going to show you about in a moment, some textured buttons. Here's some little stitching you can put on your card, right? And there's another faux stitching there. So those dies are in that bundle. Isn't it cute? Okay, now watch. Let me show you. These are some of the examples using those together. There's more in the bundle, but first, here's an example using the floss dies. I love this little kind of rainbow here. It says Sending You Stitches of Joy. And they did that background stamp on the background. This background I'll show you in a moment. It's the stencils that are included, some dies. There's some more of the dies. There's another example there with some buttons. There's some of the stamping, because look at, you have the faux stitch stamping that you can do along a card. So many ways you can do this. And this is one of the things I was talking about. Altenew has been really pushing the envelope with creativity, especially with these bundles. It used to be these bundles, you would have like a theme, and all the products in it would make a similar product, a card. But in this, you can see you can mix and match. You could have the buttons only, or you can have the scissors only, or you can have the flower. There's a lot of different things you can do. But still, in this bundle, I know I'm excited, but I was really excited about this. There is a 3D embossing folder, and it has this like stitched, embroidered look to it, okay? And those line up with these die cuts. So I can show you later, you die cut with this, then you put those in here and line them up. run it through your die cut machine, and then you end up with that faux embroidery texture on your die cuts. Or you could just do this on its own, right? But this is the other thing I'm really excited about. My 2 cards actually use this. In here is, in the same bundle, is the Stitched with Love stencils. And you can use the stencils to create this button background. Okay, they're layering stencils to create a button background. You can use your Cute as a Button stamp with it, or one of the sewing ones. You can also use these buttons. These button dies line up with the stencil. So if you wanted to pop some of those buttons up, you've got it. I know. I'm excited because this is brilliant. This is the kind of thing that I get giddy about. I don't know. Then also in that stencil set, so there's these layering stencils. I'm going to show you these in a moment. There's also this background stencil that's just stitching. So you could do a background like this or mask off stripes. That's one of the cards I was going to do too. So there's a lot in here. But the whole point of this set is I just used the With Love from this stamp set and the add-on die set for the sentiment on here. But all of these things right here, the embossing folder, all of these stencils, these dies, and the large stamp set are all in the Stitch with Love bundle. Okay, and I think with that bundle, you get the free, I think it's the price point is high enough that you get the free US shipping and the knife palette set that I talked about at the beginning, I think. But there you have, this is the Stitch with Love bundle. And I might as well show you. Let's see, what's the time looking like? I might as well show you what I did with that. So these are done. Just pretend there's a sentiment on there, okay? Oh, another thing you could do to these, if you wanted to, is take like a thin sentiment strip, like Thinking of You, and stamp it right at this angle on the inside. So when the card's closed, you don't see it, but when you open it, there's a nice little sentiment right there. And then you write your personal message at the top. It is a big bundle. These Craft Your Life bundles have always been meaty like this, but what I think I like about them lately is the different looks you can get with it. And I'm going to show you that now. I did some off screen because I knew I wouldn't have time. So I did this background. Let me tell you what I did. This is the Stitch Your Life bundle, which is all the things I just showed you, but I used the stencils on this one. There are 4 stencils. And I just used different colors of Altenew inks. And I did the inking over the stencils. They're easy to line up. There's etching on it to help you line it up. There's a guide that comes with it. Then this last stencil here does like the thread. So what I did is I used inks over the first 3 stencils. This last one, where it's the thread, I used the Shimmer Relief Paste in the pearl color. So it has a little texture to where the thread is. Remember earlier when I did this with the Shimmer Relief Paste to let dry? I did the exact same thing. I used my palette knife. I used this pearl on this one, and I did it over the stencil, and it gives you that textured thread at the center of the buttons. You could use any white paste, but I thought the pearl was fun because it gives a shine. And look at that fun background. Isn't that cute? Yes, all of these things are sold as a kit, so you can't buy them separately. This you buy separately, but all the other stuff is sold together. So this, I thought it would be fun if I I did that off screen. Really easy to do. This is the other stencil in the Stitched with Love bundle. I thought it would be fun. Let me see. If I put a little tape over this, so it's just an X exposed. Well, no, let's go to the middle. No, we'll go to the edge. So there's just a little X exposed. See how there's just a little X right there? And I thought I could do some of those in the white space in the background, just to add a little zhuzh. Mike loves that word. Not really, but whatever. Okay, so I'm gonna add some little interest to the background, the white background. I've got Morning Frost, which is like a greenish gray, a little green tint to it, but it's light. I know Altenew has some, oh, they have some new colors of gray. Let me get one of those. Hang on. I can tell you the colors I used on that one. Let's see if these grays are good. This is Pinkalicious. I did it light and then dark. This is Coralberry, light and dark, like heavy amount, a light amount and then a heavy amount. This is Lemon Yellow with some chamomile at the center. This is Volcano Lake, and the green is Parrot, which I used earlier. I just know those because I use them a lot. Okay, so let's see. This is Marble Dust and Silver Lining. It's a new collection. Silver Lining's been out, but now there's some other colors to go with it. That's too dark for what I want. Maybe the Marble Dust will work. It's the lightest color. So there are some new colors. I just didn't use them today. Oh, I like that. It's kind of like a minty gray. I think I'll use that. Okay, so I masked off a little X here. And I'm just going to put some little X's in the background. I don't know why. It just seemed like a good idea. This is like a grayish mint color. Just put a little X here and there. So this is just a reminder that if you have a stencil with a small pattern, mask off little things like this, and you can just ink them in empty spaces. Now you could use little gemstones or something in those little spaces or sequins, but I'll tell you, this is a nice way if you don't want to add bulk or if you just want to get more from your stencils. Oh, I think this is cute. In my live yesterday, I showed you how to take a little dog print die and create a stencil from that to do a similar thing. So you can check out yesterday's live for that. But here I'm just masking off this little X. This is the kind of thing that adds detail that may or may not matter to you. To me, I love little details like this, but it may not be worth that extra time that I'm taking to do it. It may not be worth it to you, but to me they are. I think I want two X's right by each other here. Oh, I went over the edge. I'll have to sand that off. There we go. See how I just added some X's? I just think that's kind of filled in those white spaces. Isn't that fun? So I was able to use the stencil in a different way. Why not? By the way, I do save my Post-it notes and reuse them a few times. So there you go. And then, honestly, I would probably just put a "You're so amazing." Isn't that fun? Look how nice this would go on these too. These stitch backgrounds. "You're so amazing," glued right to it. Or you could do the "You're as cute as a button." This would be a great baby card too. But this right here, I think, is my Christopher here? Okay, Mike, you have to tell me, did Christopher come in and say hello, gorgeous? Because he always does, and it makes me so happy. Christopher, you're on my list, my to-do list, to call you or to text you and ask you if you want to go live together. Look how fun that is. Another thing that would be great here is if you started with colored cardstock, like blue cardstock, and use blue inks and white inks on it. Isn't that fun? I love that. I thought somebody said Christopher's here.
Oh, yeah, he's here.
He's here, but he didn't call me gorgeous. Christopher, you slacker. This is LaCroix, not beer. Okay.
Yeah.
He did say hello, gorgeous. See? He did it twice. Or did he just do that because I said so?
No.
I love you, Christopher. Christopher did a guest video on my Black Friday, and it was so good. It was so good. Now this one, this is also from the same bundle, okay? From the same bundle as that button card. Completely different look. But I wanted to show you. Remember, there are dies that cut flowers, and you can put them inside of here. So what I'll do, I just die cut this from some scrap cardstock. This is Altenew Cardstock. By the way, I think there are new colors of Altenew Cardstock. And you can put them in and line them up with the embossing folder. You don't have to use the die cuts with the embossing folder, but I think it works really well. I tore the edge of that, darn. I won't use it because it's torn. So let me put these in here real quick. You could use tape. I just put a little the glue tape on glue runner on the back, and it kind of holds those flowers in place as you run it through. You could also just use a little tape like that, highlighter tape. So I just glue them in place. I'll hold it up so you can see. So see how they're lined up in there? Now I'm going to run this through my die cut machine as I would any 3D embossing folder with whatever machine you use. I'll show you. Christopher's great. I think he made city council, is that what it is, in his local area, which I think is fantastic. That makes him a lot smarter than me. Okay, so let me take these out. I tore the petal off that one, that's okay. I'm not being very careful here. Okay, so let me show you. Now these die cuts, I tore this, sorry. But you get the idea. Now these die cuts have texture to them. Isn't that fun? Hi, Bella Rose. Bella Rose, I guess. See all that texture to it? So the die cut was flat to begin with, and now there's that texture. Now there are die cuts that I can line up in the center. By the way, I want to show you how cool. So you can do the center die cuts too, but let me show you how cool this is done with metallic cardstock. So this is Altenew brushed gold cardstock. So again, these textured flowers that I showed you, you can create a little bouquet like this. There's examples in the packaging, are part of the same bundle as that button stuff. So here's an example with those die cuts. Look at all these. Here they mixed some of those textured floral die cuts with some of the buttons. Isn't that cute? Isn't that fun? Okay. So look how cool this looks on gold cardstock or any kind of metallic cardstock. I tore it again. I'm putting too much adhesive on the back because I'm in a hurry. Let me show you. Look at the texture on this. You just glue them back together, it's fine. There we go. Look at the texture, how cool it looks on the gold. Isn't that amazing? I love it. The texture does step it up. And the reason why Altenew did pretty basic shapes here is so that it would line up with the embossing folder so you could get that texture. And let me also show you what this folder looks like if you don't die cut. Now, I'm not going to make a card with these floral die cuts because, first of all, there's lots of examples on their website and you can arrange them however you want. I want to show you some other things instead. But here, look at the embossing folder just alone. Isn't that pretty? Isn't that gorgeous? So what you could do is add your little, pop them up on there. So it'd be cool to have those offset. So see how you can see the background petals and then the front petals. Isn't that fun? Yeah, I like the gold cardstock with it. So you can do this texture on any matte gold cardstock. It would look nice. This is the brushed gold from Altenew, which happens to be one I use a lot. I use the brushed gold cardstock from Altenew or the Simon Says Stamp matte gold cardstock. Those are two of my favorite. They're not too mirror-like. They're more smooth, metallic. Let's see if I can find one. Here's one. This one got wet with water, but you can see how beautiful that is. It's not too ostentatious. Yes, this embossing folder would work with the Big Shot too. You just follow the sandwich that they recommend for a 3D embossing folder. I just happen to use the Empress. Okay, so those are all From the Stitched with Love.
Is there a stencil for that embossing folder?
No, there's no stencil for this embossing folder. There's the die cuts for the embossing folder instead. This is designed to work with the die cuts, and the dies are designed to work with the embossing folder. Let me tell you the other card I was going to do, but since it's really easy to explain, I'm not going to show it here. I'll do it off screen and add it to my blog post, but it's so easy that I'd rather show you something else, show you the other things I have planned. I'm not going to be able to do them, but is everything good up there?
Oh, no, I didn't go up.
Oh, okay. All right. So let me just show you what I had planned. I'll start it. A2 card panel. I'm going to put the, I swear I shed more when I'm live than any other time. I'm going to put this at an angle. Okay. And I'm going to start inking this up. I have my Altenew alignment guides. These are meant for the stamp wheel, but they're great for masking. So what I'll do is put one of these down. A few come in a pack. I'll put another here. So I'm masking so that only one row of the faux stitching from the stencil is showing. Then let's do Buttercup because it's right here. And I will ink up over this one line. I need a cloth. There we go. Wipe off that extra ink. Remove my mask. I'm going to keep the stencil where it is. Can you see what I did there? Okay. Man down, man down. Let's pick another color, but I'll move my little mask here. You can use cardstock or scrap paper as masks. Let's do here a little bit of orange. I'll come with that chamomile that I told you about earlier. Christopher and I bet I can talk Christopher into doing a live. We've done them together before and we work really well together. So 2025 was a year and 2026 is my year. So it's going to go better and I'll have more time. Okay, so see how I have a row of yellow stitches and a row of orange? All right, then I'll do one more and then I'll show you what my plan is. Let's do, I'm going to skip 2 rows and you'll see why. Let's go with I'm going to go with like a yellowy green here. Let's go with something kind of limey. I'm going to go with this tea color. I'm kind of doing rainbow. You could do metallic inks. There's a lot you could do here. But basically, you're just masking off each line of the stencil. And you cover the whole thing. Now, when you get up here, you're going to have to shift your stencil up, right? To keep it going. But I would end up with all these angles of different color stitches. Then stamp You're So Amazing right in that gap because I didn't ink up the stitching in that center, and stamp that right there. So basically, I would probably go and continue the stitching panel to cover the whole thing. But if you wanted to, you could just do like 7 or 8 lines of stitching, like a rainbow full, but leave a little gap there for your sentiment. Does that make sense? I'm hoping that works. Pam, that's a great word. My word for 2026, which I've never done, is grow. I feel like last year I was kind of kicked down, and this year I'm going to take everything I learned and grow. Anyway, so I'm hoping that makes sense. Do also know, Mitzi, I'm sorry. I'm sorry to hear that. I lost my dad last year. I totally understand. Another thing you could do here, I did the stenciling, but you could also stamp. There are 3 rows. So if you feel more comfortable stamping, you could definitely stamp. All right, but I love that with that long sentiment right along it. Isn't that fun? So I will finish this off. Change is good too, Tammy. That's a good word. I don't normally do words, but this year I'm trying it. I feel like it holds you accountable maybe. If there's like an action to it, like grow and change, those have actions to it. Yeah, okay. Erica's right. In 2025, it was hold on for dear life. And in 2026, it's hold on, I'm gonna kill it. I like it. I'm gonna rock it for sure. Okay, I will finish this off, okay? And I've been trying to get better about after a live, taking photos of the cards and putting up a blog post with them. And I will be sure to do it with this stuff from today and finish this card off. I just don't want to bore you with inking all those up, but I'm hoping that makes sense, okay? All right, I have a mess here. Let me show you the other things I had planned. I'm not going to get to them today. I thought I would go longer, but I can hear Lila upstairs and I really want to go hang out with her. But I will show you what I have planned, and maybe I'll go live if Mike will accept. I know I have some Spellbinder stuff I'd love to use on Saturday, but then I could do this on Sunday maybe. I'm going to see. Reclaim, that's a good word too. Oh, Barbara, I'm so sorry. 2025 was a doozy. Prayer is good. I did a lot of that in 2025 too. Okay, so why is this in here? That's for a different card. Let me tell you what I have planned, and I'll do it in another live soon because it's all planned out. You can see I've already assembled a lot of it. For this card, I wanted to do the same card design, but have the bottom clear here and here. So it literally looks like this little angle piece is floating. So it'd be clear on the front bottom and the inside bottom. So it's a variation of this that's stepped up, and it's not hard to do, but I was going to show that with this card. And I was going to have the strawberries hang from the top. So let me show you. See this card right here? I was inspired by this. See how there are strawberries hanging from the top? I was going to have the same card design, strawberries hanging from the top, but it'd be clear in this area here and in the front. Okay? So I need to do a live with that because I started putting the strawberries together. This is the new, I think it's so sweet. It is the Strawberry Patch layering dies from Altenew, and this is the great popular keyhole design system, which is one of the things I love from Altenew, where on their dies, the dies cut little tiny shapes at the center of the die cuts, so you know how to line them up. So if you cut like this right here, the stem, this piece right here has a little T that die cuts from the center. So you take the flower that has a little T and you know it lines up there. Kind of like what I did with the stamping earlier, but it's with die cuts. And it explains it all on the inside. It's not hard to do. But what I like is that you can arrange the strawberries in different ways. You can arrange it like this, or you can arrange it so it's like this cluster hanging down. Aren't those cute? So I started making mine. Look how cute the little strawberries end up being. It's super easy to line up. I just did, Mike says the word of 2026 is pinball. No, that was 2025. You bought a bunch of pinball machines. So I did layers of red cardstock with the little topper, and it's easy to line it up because of the keyhole system. Then there are also little flowers, the little flowers that go with it. So I had started to prep it. You've got these layered leaves too. I started gluing mine together, and I was going to use this to be a little strawberry bundle hanging from the top corner of the card. I'd still have the angle, but this part down here and the front would be clear with it hanging down. And then I was going to use a sentiment that said, "You're so sweet." All right. So it was a variation of this. Okay. So I need to do that in a live because these strawberries are so cute. Lots of great examples on their website. I mean, you could cover the front of your card, but look at this. This big one right here creates that. But I was going to use the smaller one to create a little bunch hanging from the top. Keep going. That's a good one too. So that is the strawberry patch. So I hope to use that too. Oh, lots of pinball people out there. Mike is definitely a pinball guy. Okay. Then this is the one that I'm going to have to do in that other live because I had so many ideas to share. And this was the piece I prepped earlier with the shimmer relief paste. Let me show you what it is. This is the new Altenew Buttercup bunch. Look how cute this is. It has that keyhole system again, where it cuts little keyhole shapes at the center of the die cut so you know how to line them up. And I love this Buttercup style. Now you could do the whole bunch and it would fill the front of a card nicely, but I was doing this design. I loved this design here, and look at what I made. This one's all from Glitter Cardstock, and it's like a pop-up thing. Your personal message will be right here. See how it pops up? And for mine, I used gold glitter cardstock from Altenew, silver glitter cardstock from Altenew. I used gold matte cardstock. And then I even used some of the Mayan gold shimmer paste. I spread it on cardstock and I die cut it for the centers. But isn't that cool with all the metallics for the flower? Now the background, remember the pearl shimmer relief paste I showed you earlier with the Lattice stencil? I did that on white. So lots of white on the background, but then all metallics for this. And I thought that was just fun, right? Just something different. Be great for a wedding. But if you want to, you could do normal colors. And this is where I used that Smoky Quartz relief paste on the background and then added the flowers to it. So this is the Buttercup, what's it called? Buttercup bunch dies. And this one pops up too. So I'm not going to have time to show that today. I know I was too ambitious, but I will go live again because these, I think these two, it's a universal design that you could use with a lot of different things. And then that strawberry card I would need to do too. I could also show in that live the rest of that stitch diagonal card, this one that I started. So I got too ambitious. I got too excited because again, I made all of these when I was needing some creative therapy. So the center of these flowers, I used the Altenew Mayan Gold Shimmer Relief Paste. I just smeared some on some cardstock, let it dry, and then die cut it. Then the little layer underneath right here, that's vellum. And then I just used Altenew cardstock for the color of the flowers. This is that pure graphite cardstock with the Smoky Quartz relief paste on it. And it just pops open. You write your personal message here. If you wanted to, you could add some more flowers onto this or stamp a sentiment, but I wanted just a spot that kind of pops up where you write your personal message. You could also put more flowers on this one and write your personal message here, and it would be hidden when the card is closed. But it's really cool because it stands up on display, interesting. But I'll tell you, this was fun. Look at all that. Isn't that fun? A great way to use some of your leftover scraps of metallic cardstock. I just love that. So I will show how I did it. But really, what happens is, like you can see here, let me show you. Let me look for a good example. Like these dies right here. These dies, oh dear, they all cut a little keyhole shape at the center. See the same shape cut at the center? When you cut them, you glue them together so that the hole lines up, that shape lines up as you glue them together. Then you just glue the center on top and you end up with these flowers. So there's different ones in here. You follow the code on the inside, but it's really easy to do. Here's the Mayan Gold relief paste that I spread out really thin so I can die cut from it for those flower centers. These kind of Buttercup bunch dies are great for using up your scraps. My phone's going crazy again. Okay, so there you go. Yeah, never throw out your metallic scraps, because look at how I didn't use much of those glitter papers to create these. You could use colored glitter paper. Oops. But I also like how that pearl texture, the pearl texture on the background from the Shimmer Relief Paste adds some interest. These Shimmer Relief Pastes are from Altenew. Remember, if you spend a certain amount, the information's in my YouTube description below, you get a free set of these knives to help spread it. I showed how to do that at the beginning of the video. Like here is, it's dry. I did this at the beginning of the video. This is the pure graphite cardstock, which is dark gray. And I applied this Smoky Quartz relief paste over it. And what I'm gonna do is take a sanding block, and some of it kind of hangs off the edge here. I'll just sand that off, and that'll smooth the edges. And look at how beautiful that is. See, hold on, let me see if I can see that shimmer. Do you see the shimmer? It's just gorgeous. You could just do clear gel over a stencil, but I love this kind of tone-on-tone look. Oh, there we go. So that's what I did on the background on this one. And I've prepped all this. See how it's ready? I have all my little die cuts all ready to go, but I'm just not going to have time. Isn't that fun? So this is the Buttercup bunch. The glitter cardstocks I used for this are smaller glitter cardstock packs from Altenew, and I think it's called Gilded maybe, and I have it linked in the description below. But you could use scraps of any specialty cardstock for that, or colors. Little die cuts like these are great for using up your scraps, because I know a lot of us don't like to give those up. Yeah, so my daughter and I are addicted to playing the game Catan, and almost every night we bug a few people to join us, because you have to have 4 players. We just love those games. That game, I don't know if any of you play it, but it's so much fun. So that's what we'll do tonight, I'm sure. Okay, so that's how that one will look. I'll probably trim it down a bit so it has a white frame on it. Then we have the With Love. And then we have the hydrangeas. Oh, by the way, I'm going to do a giveaway in a moment. Settlers of Catan. Mike got that, or Colin got that, I think. I haven't played it yet. That's a different one, I think. It's like one of the add-on ones. Mike is going to do 2. Are there 2 giveaways over there? Did I give them to you, Mike? Excellent. Where did they go? I have 2 No, I have 1 giveaway. We need another giveaway. We'll do 2 giveaways. So Mike is going to pick 2 winners. One will get this Joyful Garden embossing folder, and the stencils line up with it, so you can create a beautiful, let me show you, floral background. This is another new release. I accidentally got 2 of them, so I thought I'd give one away. But look at the beautiful background that you can get. So this is the Joyful Garden, and there are stencils that you could use alone, an embossing folder you can use alone, but you can also use them together. Okay, so one winner will get that. The other winner will get a $50 gift card to Altenew. So if you want a chance to win, just leave a comment in the chat. If you've been leaving comments, that works. He's going to pick somebody in a moment. Catan. It's popular with college students right now. So Colin plays it until wee hours of the morning with all of his roommates. He has 16 boys who live in his house, and they play it all the time. And he taught us, and now we play it all the time. You know what I like about it is it's a little bit of strategy, a little bit of luck, and a lot of like interacting. Like you make deals and things like that, so nobody can like zone out on their phone or whatever. I absolutely love it. Okay, so here we have some of the designs. This is the blooming hydrangea that I used at the beginning. This is the something enchanted roses, I think it was. This is from the Stitch with Love bundle. And these are the Buttercup bunch. And I also showed you the strawberries. So all of those are new from Altenew. I used a few older things, but most of the things I used were from this new collection. A lot of good stuff in it. So be sure to check it out if you're interested in it. Oh, you have 3 subscriptions from Altenew. Altenew never disappoints. They really don't. The Altenew Shimmer Relief pastes are fantastic. I can't recommend them enough. No, Catan is a board game, and you need 4 people. You can get an expansion pack to play more, but really 4 is ideal. If you have more people, we do teams. It's fun to do teams, like have partners. So you can have like 8 or whatever. We like to do that when we have a bunch of friends over. It's fun. I think Mike likes it.
Yep. I haven't won yet.
Lila killed us last night. If you've ever played, she had 2 resources on 8, and everybody was rolling 8. And she put cities down, so anytime anybody rolled 8, she'd end up with like 4 wheats and 4 ores every time somebody in brick. It was crazy. It was not fair. Okay. Does Mike have to make a choice? Mike will, he randomly picks people from the chat. So again, I'm sorry I didn't get all the cards I planned done, but you can check out the products below if you're interested, or remember, a lot of these card designs can be done with other products you have. And I probably, either Saturday or Sunday, or maybe Monday, I can go live with the rest of these. If you're in my Facebook group, I am very clear in my Facebook group, the Share Handmade Kindness Facebook group, when I'm going live with everything. I also am going live on Thursday and Friday. However, my Thursday live is going to be pushed back an hour because I have to go to Pilates with Betsy. So Thursday I'll go live at 4. Friday I'll go live at 3. And then this weekend I'll definitely be going live, and I'll let you know about that. Okay. Mike, the first winner is for the Joyful Garden bundle. Who gets that?
Karen Conticelli.
Karen Conticelli. Karen, email me through my website and give us your address. We'll send you these along with the handmade card. And then the other winner gets a $50 gift card to Altenew. And the sooner you email us, the sooner we can get you that gift card, and you can spend it on the new release and get the free gift. Who is that?
Brenda Freehill.
Brenda Freehill. You get the $50 gift card. Now, yeah, Mike, listen, Mike sleeps in every morning. He doesn't get here till like 11. So Mike is okay. Okay, he gets here at 10:50. So he's allowed, today he came earlier. He's allowed to work a little late here and there. Right, Mike?
I pinned the message with the winner's username, so check there.
You love me, Mike.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes, congrats to both of you. Excuse my pajamas in case you missed the beginning. I'm in pajamas. They're clean now. So I will be live on Thursday at 4, Friday at 3. You can join my Share Handmade Kindness Facebook group if you want to be up to date on those things. I don't usually go live on Tuesdays anymore because Gina goes live at night on Tuesdays, and that's just a lot of live. But I had to do this today because I've been sitting on these projects. So be sure to check out Gina K tonight. She'll be live at 8 p.m. Most of you watch her anyways, but she's the best at lives. I think that's it. Remember that you can get free shipping at Altenew and also get a free set of palette knives, which are great for any kind of gels or pastes. All that information is at the top of the YouTube description. There we go. I know I planned too much. I'm sorry. I just really enjoyed this stuff, and it was good therapy for me. But I will follow up with another live. All right. I think that's it. You good, Mike?
I'm good.
Okay. Thank you all for being here. I hope it was an escape for you as it is for me. And I hope to see you again on Thursday. Thanks for being here.